Ginger Duggar shares selfies from Jana Duggar's Arkansas wedding. Lots of sweet time with family. The good times of Jana Duggar and Stephen Wisman's wedding continue to roll, with younger sister Ginger Duggar posting a string of selfies from the happy occasion. Ginger, 30, took to social media on Sunday, September 1st, to share some of her favorite memories from her big sister's wedding, which took place in Arkansas on August 15th. Posting a carousel of snaps, professional photos and a video via Instagram, Ginger reflected fondly on the major family event. "We celebrated the happy couple at Jana M. Duggar and at Stephen Wisman, enjoyed lots of sweet time with family and friends and ate lots of delicious food. Until next time AR, red heart," Ginger captioned the post. The carousel featured selfies of Ginger alongside the bride, 34, her mother, Michelle Duggar, her brother Joseph Duggar, her sister Jill Duggar, and several other siblings, family members and friends. It also included photos of Jana and Wisman, 31, sharing a kiss and posing with Ginger and her husband, Jeremy Vuolo. Jana and Wisman married 2 months after getting engaged. They tied the knot in front of 500 guests at Arkansas's The Grand at Willow Springs. As Jessa Duggar Seawald served as Jana's maid of honor, and bridesmaids included Ginger and her fellow sisters Joanna Forsyth, Johanna Duggar and Jordan Duggar, as well as Jana's sister-in-law, Abby Duggar. Jana, whose family rose to fame through the reality TV series 19 Kids and Counting, told People 2 days before the wedding took place, "I think it is one of those things that all girls envision someday. For me, it felt like, okay, it's never coming. But now it's starting to sink in. Reality is starting to set in. And I'm like, wow, this truly is something that I've dreamed of. And just to see it coming about is incredible and kind of hard to believe. It's a dream come true." As the Duggar children's young families continue to flourish, Ginger hinted during the Wednesday, August 28th, episode of the Ginger and Jeremy podcast that she is keen to add to her brood. Ginger and Vuolo, 36, already share 2 daughters, Felicity, 6, and Evangeline, 3. "That would be fantastic," Ginger said while answering fan questions on the podcast. "If we had another kid, had twins, I'd be down for it." Ginger reflected further on her brother Jedediah Duggar and his wife, Katie Duggar, announcing in July that they are expecting twin girls. "I feel like it would be a lot of work initially, but then you also it's a faster way to have babies." Ginger and Vuolo were first linked in 2015 before getting engaged the following year. Just a few months after announcing their engagement, the pair married in an Arkansas ceremony in November 2016. Y&R's Lyndon Ashby recalls his time on Melrose Place and weighs in on if he will appear in the upcoming reboot. "You can't keep a good villain down on the young and the restless." In recent weeks, viewers have seen that the CBS soap opera has brought Cameron Kirsten, Lyndon Ashby, back as the person that Sharon Case, is talking to her about all the mistakes and misgivings in her life and what she should do about it all. Of course, no one is aware that she is talking to a dead man, and the man that tried to rape her and had tortured her. And while actor Lyndon Ashby is a scene stealer on Y&R, Melrose Place fans also remember him in the role of Dr. Brett Co-op Cooper back in 1997. On Melrose Place, Ashby shared many a scene with Jamie Luner, ex-Liza, All My Children. With the Melrose Place reboot on the way, Ashby weighed in on if he would do a cameo on the primetime soap and his experience the first time when chatting with TV Insider. Ashby's real-life wife, Y&R's Susan Walters, also appeared on Melrose Place in the role of Christine Denton in 1998. He recalled speaking to Susan about his gig, "I'm like, this dialogue. I would never have this conversation. It just wouldn't happen. I would be like, hey, we're not having this conversation." It was much more talking to each other than I was used to at that point in my life. So, that was hard. With the reboot in the works, Lyndon says he doesn't think he might have been that pivotal to the show for him to be asked back. "I was just doing a convention and I was hanging out with Alyssa Milano, who played Jennifer Mancini from 1997-1998, a lot, and we were talking about Melrose Place. You hear talk about a reboot, but I don't know if I was an integral part in that show. I think that there are other actors who are the faces of Melrose. I was just kind of a visitor." However, if you were to get a chance to reprise the role of Dr. Brett Cooper, Ashby enthusiastically shared, "Yeah, of course. It would be great. It'd be fun. I'd like to go back and do it better than I did the first time. You don't often get a chance to do that in life." In story, Co-op as he was called, was married to Lexi Sterling Luner. However, he had an affair with Kimberly Shaw, Marcia Cross, who he fell for following her car crash. Eventually, Co-op divorced Lexi and began seeing Megan Lewis, Kelly Rutherford. Later, Lexi and Brett entered into a platonic marriage to get their hands on her father's inheritance. Later, Lexi managed to seduce Brett, which prompted Megan to leave him. Very resentful, Brett lured Lexi on a sailing trip and attempted to kill her during a storm. However, Megan appeared and managed to save Lexi's life. Brett left town never to be seen again and Lexi and Megan became pals. So, you see, Lyndon could still come back to Melrose Place. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Cupid Claire fixes Kyle and Summer's broken family? The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, might be crushing on Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer. However, Claire also hasn't made any moves toward Kyle in that direction. It seems Claire keeps the lines between boss and potential lover very clear, which isn't common for soap characters. In any case, could Claire really prove herself by scheming to reunite Kyle and Summer Newman? Allison Lanier. After all, Claire does spend a lot of time chatting with Harrison Abbott. Reading Munsell. Keep reading and let's talk about the possibilities. Skyle divorce Y&R spoilers reveal that Kyle and Summer finally returned to Genoa City, which fans were excited about. However, over the past few years, a lot has happened with the former flames. In the end, Summer and Kyle moved out. It's clear that Kyle and Summer still love each other very much, while Summer has moved on with Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd. It doesn't have that same spark or connection that she had with Kyle. Y&R spoilers. Claire Grace Newman's crush. Claire has a crush on Kyle. However, Claire also knows that it would be very messy and bad to have a romance with her boss. Plus, Claire knows that Kyle's ex-wife, who is her other boss, is also her cousin. So, Claire hasn't acted on her feelings and there might be a reason for that. Kyle Abbott's respect. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Kyle has a lot of respect for Claire. Kyle likes Claire as a friend, but is also inspired by her journey. Kyle admires how Claire has tried to turn her life around after the mistakes she made via Jordan, Colleen Zenk. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Unexpected matchmaking? Recently, Summer and Claire had a heart-to-heart. Summer admitted she was awful to Claire. Meanwhile, Claire opened up about Jordan, the crimes against Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, and trying to adjust to her new family. Summer confessed she was adjusting to Claire being family, too. It was a nice moment and there's no way that Claire will jeopardize the progress by jumping into bed with Kyle. In fact, Claire might realize that Kyle and Summer still love each other if they would just put their anger aside. Could Claire and Harrison work together to reunite Skyle? With how much time Claire spends with Harrison, the topic of Kyle and Summer must come up a lot. It could also do a lot of good for Claire and Summer's dynamic. The rise of fall. What's coming up and going down on all four soaps in the months ahead? Fall. Leaves changing. Temperatures dropping. Pumpkin spice everything-ing. For our money, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Sorry, Christmas. But the reason we so love it isn't as much the return of sweater weather or the approach of jack-o'-lantern carving season as it is the big twists and turns that are trotted out by the young and the restless, the bold and the beautiful, Days of Our Lives and General Hospital. And this fall's sampler platter of shockers, it's wall-to-wall doozies. The Young and the Restless has Victor plotting to stick a fork in Billy Boy's tenure at Chancellor Industries with the forcefulness that most of us reserve to pick up a bite of Thanksgiving turkey. The Bold and the Beautiful will just be coming off of Luna's reign of terror, which we didn't even realize was going on until she drugged Steffi and tossed her in a cage. #Justice for Tom and Hollis. Over on Days of Our Lives, Brady is feeling the weight of a conscience that shouldn't feel nearly as guilty as it does. And at General Hospital, the Davis women have no idea that they are counting down to a tragedy that will either bring them together again, or tear them apart for good.